We all ready?
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out this beautiful sunny morning. I'm Mike Presendo, the Director of Communications for the Department of Motor Vehicles, here to convey the regrets from our Commissioner, Lackey, who's been a strong proponent of this initiative since Commander King approached him about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, he has had over 6 flights canceled in the last 48 hours. He's now on a train on his way here. But I just want to make sure everyone knows how important this is to him and the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'd like to now welcome and announce we are honored to have the Benedictine College Preparatory Corps of Cadets Color Guard this morning. They've given us their best of the best. They're officers, so you'll see them carrying their officers' sabers as opposed to the traditional rifles. And following that, Jennifer Lujan, who is a top-ranked singer in the area. She's sung at the National Capitol. She is a fantastic addition, and so she'll sing the National Anthem. And welcome the Benedictine College Preparatory Color Guard.
Mark time, march. Right turn, march. Colors, halt.
Welcome, Jennifer Lujan. If we can all have you face the colors as she sings our national anthem.
Read that. Arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Woo!
Thank you.
Nice.
Order. Arms.
Thank you so much. I don't know about you, but I think that's one of the most beautiful renditions I've ever heard. Thank you.
Well done. My goodness.
I'd like to introduce a couple other VIPs here before we get on with the program. Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody. We have Dick Wise with Chapter 1965. That's the local chapter of the Purple Heart Society. We also have James Culbertson, who's the also chapter for Purple Heart representative for he's on the Leadership Council. Robert Norton and Roddy DeVowd, who are representing Virginians for Veterans. We have Sarah Corman Bothwell. She's the president of Corman Signs. Her father was a Purple Heart recipient, and she's helped out with the sign we're going to be unveiling and throughout the state. A couple of DMV folks we'd like to recognize as well. Sherry Vaughn, who helped select the locations throughout the state to post the signs based on the population of Purple Heart recipients in those communities, and Michael Slavin, who's head of our facilities, who's also been instrumental in making sure these are placed across our 16 locations and more to come. Also like to thank Walter Cornett, USMC, brought us the Operation Purple Heart truck you see behind us today. It's dedicated to honoring our veterans and our Purple Heart recipients. And also our Sergeant Rob Williams from the Department of Motor Vehicles Law Enforcement Facilities Services. He's also a veteran of the Coast Guard and asked to be a part of this procedure today. Now to our guest of honor, my friend Ben King. He's the Virginia Department Commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart. The department for the state of Virginia is comprised of 6 chapters. He's the commander of all those chapters and also actively involved in the local chapter 1965. Ben is a Iraqi war veteran, sergeant of psychological operations. He earned his Purple Heart New Year's Eve, 2006, direct hit by an IED. His dedication to this cause and to veterans in general, he tells me, is he considers himself lucky. The soldiers the day before and the day after were not as fortunate to him, and that drives and motivates his commitment to veterans. His day job, he runs operations for the Virginia War Memorial. He'll have his hands full later on this afternoon at the services at the War Memorial. And I also wanted to let you know, too, Jennifer is a student, junior, at the Stewart School. So if you see her slipping out before we're done, she has to get back to class. So we'll see what happens there. Ben?
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Secretary, distinguished guests, Jennifer, great job. Amazing. Well done. Thank you all for being here. It's a special honor to be here, largely because this day represents a continuation of a legacy built 250 years ago. If you think about where our kind of the very beginnings of America was 250 years ago, we were at a place where Washington had just accepted command of the Continental Army. The Army had been born, the Navy had been born, and the Marines had all been born 250 years ago. And what that represented was a sea change across the globe. The old model of how to be was gone, and a new model for how to be, a model around freedom, was being born. And that model was embodied by George Washington, whose face is on every Purple Heart sign and whose face is on every Purple Heart. And what he represented is that regardless of how things change, what is inside of all of us is infinite potential and infinite value. And if you bring that together, what can be created can change the world. And that's the legacy we're on top of today. We all are here because of a 250-year legacy started by George Washington. And so today, when we unveil this Purple Heart sign, what we are unveiling is a link to a past, but also a promise to the future. And that promise is that we understand that we are here because of the deeds and the sacrifices our veterans have made. And when we honor that and we recognize that, we fulfill that commitment and we continue to participate with that legacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Department of Virginia Military Order of the Purple Heart, it's a great honor to be here today and sharing this commitment to legacy and to our future with the DMV. And again, we're so grateful that you're here to share this special time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. It's my honor to introduce the Virginia Secretary of Transportation. I'll give you a little bit of background on his distinguished career. Secretary Miller has spent his career building connections across Virginia. He's a lifelong resident of Norfolk. He combined business leadership and public service to strengthen his community and the Commonwealth. Before joining the governor's cabinet, he served as chairman of Kitco Fiber Optics, a nationally recognized defense contractor, twice named among Virginia's Fantastic 50 fastest growing companies. He's held leadership roles with the Commonwealth Transportation Board, Town Bank, Virginia Foundation for Independent Colleges, and the Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority. As Secretary of Transportation, he oversees the entire multimodal network: planes, trains, automobiles, highways, transit, and with a focus on efficiency and safety. He brings a practical, results-oriented approach rooted in community values and service to others. Please join me in welcoming a strong supporter of Virginia's veterans and a trusted partner of DMV, Secretary of Transportation, Sheppard Miller. Thank you.
Mike, thank you. Good morning. What a beautiful day here in Richmond. A little chilly this morning, isn't it? Ben's got his gloves on. What's all that about? It's not that cold, man. By the way, Commissioner Lackey needs to learn that it's trains, planes, automobiles, buses, not just airplanes. There's other modes of transportation. Poor Gerald got waylaid by all the cancellations and is unhappy he's not here, but I'm happy I am, and we'll wish him well in his travels today. So I want to thank you, Mike, for your introduction, and to the commissioner for having the wisdom and the foresight to work with his folks to make this happen. Ben, obviously you've been the creator of this vision, so we're really happy. It's especially great to be here today to thank you for your work to support our veteran community here in Virginia, which makes up such a large part of the Commonwealth. And I tell you, when Mike was giving you my intro, I hate intros, by the way. I did grow up in Norfolk. I'm a really lucky guy. So I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia, which is arguably one of the largest military concentrations in the world, right? I'm right down the street from Norfolk Naval Base. There's Air Force, there's Army, there's Coast Guard. We have a space operation there, but there's all the branches of the military represented in Hampton Roads. And so I grew up in a sort of a military-centric place, and I grew up in a time where both my grandfathers were veterans. One was a career Army guy, 33 years of flying airplanes early. His son was a carrier pilot. My other grandfather was in World War I with his wife, was also in World War I as a wave. And then my father was in World War II. And so growing up in that community, you really appreciated sort of the fact that you got to live in a free world, because these people went out and sacrificed themselves so that you could do that. And I saw a lot of that. And then I was just post-Vietnam growing up, so I missed that. And so I never had any military service, and I'm sort of regretful about that in some respects. My sister was in the Air Force. My two brother-in-laws, one was Air Force Academy, one was Naval Academy. My point to you folks is I understand and I get it, even though I didn't do it. And I want to make sure, as we honor our veterans, and particularly our Purple Heart people today, that the young people understand this. You know, I don't think that all the young folks really understand what the veterans have done and continue to do. It's sort of like they're just over there somewhere and then they come home. And having grown up as a child of World War II people, that was all in, folks. And we haven't seen anything like it since, and hopefully we never will, because of the work that veterans and particularly our Purple Heart recipients have done. So I feel blessed. I cannot think of a more appropriate day to unveil these 16 reserved parking spaces across the Commonwealth that are dedicated to Purple Heart recipients. When I came to work this morning, the governor will be active today with Veterans Day celebration over at the War Memorial, but when I came in this morning, we were flying, instead of the Virginia flag, the POW-MIA flag. And it's all the same thing, folks. When you go to serve, if you get shot or you get hurt, or you're just serving, or you get captured, wow, wow. Most of us have no concept about that. So really proud to be here and to celebrate this. This initiative is a collaboration between the Virginia DMV and the Military Order of the Purple Heart Department of Virginia. Thank you, Ben. Thanks to your collaboration, these parking spaces serve as visible tributes to those who have been wounded or killed in combat, symbolizing our enduring gratitude for their sacrifices. So this isn't just about a parking space, folks, because this space, thankfully, won't be filled all day long every day, thankfully. But when you come in and you see that space, it reminds you of those folks that have done all this for us in the past, and that's important. So this is a very small way that we can underscore and honor the significant sacrifice that you all have made, and in many cases, the ultimate sacrifice. The Purple Heart, as has been said, reflects a long-standing citizen soldier tradition that goes back to George Washington and the Merit of Honor, or the Badge of Military Merit, I should say, and that's morphed in today's Purple Heart. The first recipient of the modern-day Purple Heart was General Douglas MacArthur, who was buried there in Norfolk in the MacArthur Memorial. And so he, like many, has exhibited great courage, dedication, and had bloodshed in defense of our nation. As of today, we have 16 reserved Purple Heart spaces around Virginia, Alexandria, Chesterfield, Fairfax, Hampton, my home of Norfolk, Roanoke, Sterling, and up in Northern Virginia in a number of places. And as Mike said, we've sort of tracked where Purple Heart recipients are to go there where they are. And these spaces, as I said, aren't just for parking, they're for symbols of respect and remembrance. When used, they honor living heroes. When empty, they stand as silent memorials to those who gave their all in defense of our freedoms. So this initiative today ensures that the legacy of the Purple Heart remains a visible and honored part of Virginia's civic life, not just on Veterans Day, but every day. So I really appreciate y'all coming out. I appreciate so much the people that are veterans, the people that are Purple Heart veterans, all the people, and I'll include that in that the first responders. You know, the people the law enforcement that keeps us safe here, and the military that keeps us safe around the world. Folks, we just would not be here. Those of us who involve ourselves in politics and argue back and forth and things, that's all fine and well, but none of us would be here if it was not for you. And we should never forget that. So let's keep that in the hearts and minds of our young people as they go through their daily lives. And let's honor and remember the people who unfortunately were wounded and had Purple Hearts. Ben, we're glad for your license plate. Ben's license plate says CHBW. Could have been worse. That's a heck of an attitude for somebody who's experienced what he's experienced. And that's what America's all about, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a real pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be part of this ceremony. I appreciate your time today. Everybody have a good day, have a safe day, travel well, be safe on the roads, folks. God bless you. Happy Veterans Day.
I'd like to invite Secretary Miller and Commander King to join us at the sign for the grand unveiling.
We'll count to three. 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Wow, look at that. Good. Really good.
How about my Purple Heart tie?
Looking good, man.
Appreciate it. Mike, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. And how about the Benedictine guys? How about that?
Corps Cadets.
Corps Cadets. Where's our singer?
She had to go back.
She had to go back to school. She's pretty good. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Mike. Where'd Mike go? Mike, are we finished?
We're finished. Thanks, sir.
This concludes the event. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Right turn.
March.
Forward. March.
Oh, thank you.
Did you ever ask Matt Martin where the people
That's what I figured. It's just numbers. Yeah. But I'll check. I'll confirm.